off.
Here
and
we go.
We're going.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
So, welcome back, Angela.
Hey, Tango.
We're on episode 19.
Yeah, look at
We're
us.
getting there. Pretty soon it'll be season 2.
I know. We're moving up in the world of podcasting.
Yeah.
No?
Well, a couple of sponsors would be nice, but we'll see what happens there. But
They'll come to us.
they will. But hey, everybody, welcome back to Tango Talks, and this is episode 19, and carrying on our month-long, right?
Yes.
Dedication to Halloween. Tonight's episode is Ghost, Glitches, and Gut Feelings. So you know what I'm talking about. That feeling, it's 2 a.m. and all of a sudden your phone lights up and, you think it's, down for the night like you are, and there's no text, no urgent alert, just that quiet, unnerving light of its own existence. It's like your device knows a secret or something, and it's staring you down. I think it's happened to me a couple of times because my phone sits on the cradle horizontal, so you get that night clock thing there.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And it faces me. So every once in a while, when you're awake and you're facing it, even when you're asleep, all of a sudden it lights up. It's bright.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'm always like, hello, what's going on?
Yeah.
There's nothing there. It's just a big white screen.
Yeah.
But
it just shows your screensaver and maybe the clock is on there. It was like, somebody's trying to get in touch with you. Like, what's happening here?
Well, could be somebody. Like me, you roll over, pretend you didn't see it, but now you're wide awake. Because once I wake up, then it's almost impossible for me to get back to sleep sometimes. But I don't know if I, think about ghosts at the moment. I think a lot of times I just blow it off like, okay, whatever that was, I don't know, phone farted or something.
Yeah. Crazy phones.
But so who knows? Maybe the ghost that's crossed over our feed is trying to get a hold of us. Maybe tell us to stop doing these podcasts, or maybe you're doing a good time and doing a good job and keep going. Who knows what it's trying to tell us? But
I like that one better.
So do I. But anyways, everybody, this is Tango Talks, the podcast that lives comfortably in the messy, weird space between generally haunted and hilariously confusing, which is usually my case. Tonight, we're digging into ghosts, glitches, and gut feelings, because sometimes that paranormal isn't about chain-rattling specters. It's about faulty timing, wonky technology, and that tiny, persistent inner voice whispering, "Abort, don't click that link." So let's load this episode right up.
And just a friendly reminder, we need your help. We are getting close, but we need you to tell your friends, tell your family, scream it in the cemetery. Follow and subscribe at tangotalks.live, or sponsor us at patreon.com/Tango Talks 66 and get rewarded with much love and merchandise.
And we won't haunt you in the afterlife.
No, we definitely will not. We'll be your biggest fans. We'll be your biggest fans, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
We'll shower you with lots of love and merchandise.
Don't forget, Tuesdays at 6 p.m., you can call in too and interact with us. So that number to call us at is 315-801-9655.
Beautiful. Definitely need those people.
Mm-hmm.
Why do I get all the big pages? All right. So the first thing we're going to talk about is the ghost in the group chat. I guess it's, one of those modern hauntings, being ghosted. We've all heard people saying, oh, they ghosted me.
Yeah.
But, and I don't mean by, the moody ex in a fog-drenched cemetery. I mean being ignored by someone who has read receipts turned on. You send the message, you see the 3 little dots up here. I just said that to Steven today. I asked him if he wanted me to order dinner. And all of a sudden he comes walking through the door. I'm like, it says you're still typing. He's like, no, I'm not. I'm like, it says, look, it's got the 3 dots and it just keeps going. So maybe somebody was trying to intervene our dinner order or something.
Oh my gosh.
And then they dissolve into nothingness. Radio silence. What happened? Did you say something wrong? Did they suddenly ascend? Or are they actively haunting you from the land of the emotionally unavailable? Boy, do I know some people like that. Mm-hmm. I'm starting to wonder if the afterlife just got decent Wi-Fi. That would be nice because I keep buying routers and I just can't get the coverage I want. So I guess if you can get it in the afterlife, why not?
Why not, right?
Well, you guys have had Wi-Fi problems too up there.
Oh my God, all the time.
And then it's funny because sometimes when I go to check Wi-Fi, like you guys show up all the way down here and you're like 5 houses away.
Oh, you mean our Wi-Fi
your signal?
Connection?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And I was like, if I only knew the password, I'd totally log on. But
you could probably figure it out. Knowing us.
Oh, yeah, knowing Jay. Probably. It's my birthday. Maybe your text didn't fail. Maybe it got rerouted to digital purgatory for a quick vibe check. I once sent a friend a meme, a pug in shades saying mood. That's so funny, a pug. Mm-hmm. Those dots popped up, then poof, vanished. A week later, I got a text on the same thread. Who is this? Either my friend had a temporary memory wipe, like me, or my meme transcended dimensions. If spirits really are trying to contact us, they're definitely frustrated by their terrible bandwidth. Hey, it's Grandma. Stop trying to use your Ouija board on the speakerphone.
Yeah, but see, it's so funny that you were saying that, though, about texting Steven, because I've done that with Steven, though, too, where like
and the dots just go forever.
Yeah, like I've texted him and I'm like waiting for his answer back and I don't get an answer back. So I put the phone down and I'm like, well, he never answered me back. And then I'll go back and look at it because I come down here and he's like, well, why didn't you answer me back? And I said, well, you didn't answer me back.
He says that all the time. It's like, she never answered me. He's like,
I'm like,
I don't know
yes,
what to tell
I did the first time. And then you didn't answer me back.
I'm notorious. I'm notorious though for I don't know why it happens, but like I'll type a message and then think I hit the send button and I didn't. So then at the end of the day, he'll be like, or anybody, I've had lots of people say like, you didn't respond. Then I go back and look at the message and it's still sitting there. It's like, oops. Then I hit send. It's like, oh, I got it.
Yeah.
I don't know where it went to.
I do that a lot. Like I think I'm texting you back and then all of a sudden I go get involved in something else and I'll be like, wait a minute, did I actually answer him back? And then I'll look and it's sitting there. Yeah. I probably should have included a segment on here in Tango Tech because the one thing from Microsoft that I actually like right now is their phone link. So it'll link with Android and iPhones, but once you link it up, your text messages appear in an app on your main computer. So you can respond. The only thing you can't send any photos or anything like that or receive photos. But for texting, it's awesome because I can do quick replies on the keyboard faster than I can pick up my phone and try to text it. You know what I mean? And I know when I hit the enter key on the keyboard, it goes. Yeah. So I am loving that app right now. Or what about those sometimes when you get a message that's kind of been sitting in limbo?
Oh, and then all of a sudden it appears?
Yeah. Just like it comes to you and you're like, well, wait a second. And you start to reply back and they're like, well, it's about time you've texted me. And I'm like, what are you talking about?
I've had
got it, Yep.
It's like somebody held on to it for a little bit. And it's crazy to think when that stuff happens because I'm pretty confident technology is pretty good, you know what I mean, with text messages at least, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it's always a little offsetting when, like you said, all of a sudden, 3 days or a week later or something like that, you get a text message that comes through and you're like, and sometimes I'm just like, who is this? What do you want? And then they're like, well, I texted you a week ago and you never replied. I'm like, I just got the message. Yeah. It happens to me and Steven a lot. Like I'll text him before leaving work. Yeah. And he won't get the message until I'm pulling in the driveway.
That's crazy.
I'm like, what? Because I was like, did you stop at the store? I'm like, no, you never replied. He goes, I replied right back. I was like, oh, I just got it. So guess we're not getting that.
I guess price shopper it is. Too funny. So I asked the listeners to send in their digitally haunted encounters. The kind of stuff that makes you go, okay, that's undeniably creepy. But also, it only involves my smart toaster. We had one submission from a woman whose Alexa started blasting Baby Got Back at exactly 3:03 a.m.
Well, 3 a.m. or is it 3:33?
It's like in the 3 o'clock hour.
It's also
bewitching.
alien time.
Yeah.
I think Steven says it all the time. Like whenever it might be just, I think 3. There's something odd about, like, people think midnight is the witching hour, and it's not. It's like 1 o'clock is the witching hour, because there's something about there being 13 hours on the witch's clock or something like that.
Okay,
I remember reading
gotcha.
a long time ago. So 1 o'clock is that for us is the actual witching hour. But then there's something that Stephen always says every time. It's like 3:33 or something like that. Even in the afternoon, he's like, oh, it's alien time. There's something about, I guess, like, I don't know. I think he thinks that if you look up all these alien abductions, they happen at 3:30 in the morning.
3:30 in the morning. That's crazy. So this individual decided that she was going to unplug her Alexa. She got sick of Baby Got Back. Problem solved, right?
You think?
No. She said her Roomba started spinning aggressively in circles in the living room at the very same time. So Baby Got Back.
And a Roomba dancing to it.
She said it was like it was dancing to the song, dancing to a song only the vacuum could hear.
But you know what? We've had that happen with our Alexa on the side porch, where all of a sudden, like, and it hasn't happened in a long time, but when we first started up out there, like, out of the blue, we'd hear music. And at first, I think it happened a couple of nights, because the first couple of nights we were just like, I can't believe they're playing the music so loud across the street. It's so rude.
Yeah.
But it would be off when we got up in the morning. So it would only be playing like at night.
So it was yours playing? Alexa playing music.
So all of a sudden, like, it was like the third or fourth night. I was like, I can't believe. And then I'm sitting there. I'm like, wait, that just sounds so close. So I went all the way downstairs and went out, and I'm downstairs. And I'm like, why does this sound like it's like right out here? And I walked out, and the side porch was just blaring music.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the? I'm like, Alexa, shut up.
I know. We've had that, though. Well, little Jay wasn't home, but I've had it where all of a sudden the music comes on, like you just said, with Alexa in the other room, like in our spare bedroom.
It's just not Jay breaking your balls.
No, because this was like in the middle of the night it happened. And you know how I love my big band music. And then all of a sudden it starts playing, you know? And I was like, you hear like, I was like, what? And then I was
actually,
like,
I didn't know you liked big band music.
Yes, you did.
No, I don't think we ever talked about that.
I'm like a huge 1920s, 30s fan.
See, I play the Benny Goodman station I was on, and we play it on the side porch. And I go to Stephen every time we play it. It's like, I love it. I find it very relaxing in the summertime with a cocktail. But I was like, people must walk by here and think like we're like two 85-year-old men just sitting here in rocking chairs listening to Benny Goodman. But I enjoy it. You know what I mean?
Music ever.
It's just
love it.
It's just perfect summertime music. Anyways, I'm sorry.
That's okay. But we're still talking about Alexa. And I can remember one night I was sitting downstairs in my living room. I couldn't sleep. It was one of those sleepless nights. So I went and I grabbed some of my crocheting projects. So I started, sitting there, I'm crocheting, I'm reading my patterns and everything. And all of a sudden she starts talking. She's like, I didn't quite get that. I was like, no words actually came out of my mouth, Alexa. So I don't know what you're talking about. But I mean, I wasn't even like reading my pattern out loud. So it wasn't even like she was picking up on my voice.
Right.
I literally didn't say anything.
Yeah. See, that is.
So that totally freaked me out because I'm like, okay, it's obviously not real ghosts, but ghosts of the
technology, ghosts of the machine.
Yes. Of the technology kind. So, here's another story. This was another one we got. This one was involving a smart photo frame. You know those? Yeah. Those are
Krista's got one. He's got.
Yeah, they're cool.
I always sit there and just like, oh, look how cute he is, because I always just got her grandson on there.
And you can have music playing or whatever with them, but it's constantly like circling through the photos. But this one flickered and it displayed a photo of a family she didn't even recognize.
It's a family that lived there before her.
Maybe. Was it a cached photo from the last owner? Or did a new unexpected relative just try to join in the cloud? Look, ghosts don't knock on our doors anymore.
No, it's easier to fuck around with our technology.
I know. They just simply join you through Bluetooth.
Without asking. Well, it's so.
There you go. I mean, those are like the perfect examples.
They really are. They really are.
Things like that,
The photo frame would freak me out, though. You know what I mean? If I was in somebody else's family started showing up, I'd be like, who are these people?
But you know what? I'm one of those people that I don't usually get freaked out at first. I try to debunk everything. I'm like, well, maybe this was a refurbished frame, or
true.
So they probably didn't get some of these pictures
completely wipe it out.
Yeah. Like when you take your iPhone in and you get a new one, somebody's getting your old iPhone. So it's like, is there a picture of me and Lil J at our wedding? Like,
let's hope that's it. Let's hope that's the cleanest photo that's on there.
Right.
Mom, what's this? Where'd you get that? It was already on the phone.
It was on the phone. Oh my gosh.
There was something I was going to say and I forgot what it was. Dang, my mind just isn't. Anyways, continue. It'll come to me like 3 frames from now or something.
So here's tonight's challenge. What was your most reality-breaking, mind-bending glitch moment? Tag us with hashtag Tango Talks glitch. I want your personal matrix snapshots.
Those would be fun.
Yeah.
I'm starting to get the jalapeno in my drink now. Everybody, I'm drinking a gin and tonic, which, by now you should know that's my ultimate favorite drink, but I like to switch it out a little bit. And tonight I put in some pickled jalapenos. They at first I was like, I don't taste it. Now that the drink has been moving around a little bit, I'm starting to get that little bit of jalapeno aftertaste. So we'll see what happens by the time I get to the bottom of this thing. I might have to switch it out.
Nice and bitey.
Right. Okay, so this episode of Tango Talks is brought to you by Spirit VPN, protecting your data from hackers, identity thieves, and the dearly departed, because nothing is scarier than a phantom stealing your soul unless it's a phantom stealing your Spotify password. Keep your connection secure. Now back to the well, apparently that VPN isn't that secure. I got hacked halfway through.
Yeah, see? It happens.
It does happen. It certainly does.
Hacked all the time here. It's crazy.
Or we're just hacks.
Or we're hacks. Too funny.
One of these days, my sister is going to finally catch on that the show is at 6 p.m. and join in instead of complaining that I missed it again.
So we're talking about different things, but let's talk about glitches. Those weird little hiccups in reality that make you wonder if someone's running The Sims and forgot to hit save on your life.
Those things that make you go,
Yeah. Wasn't there a song about that? I think so. Yeah. You ever lose your car keys and swear you left them on the counter and then you find them in the refrigerator?
I haven't done that yet.
No.
No, you have.
I've done things like that. Not in the refrigerator, but I literally came in with groceries one time and I was starting to put stuff away and I put a bag of flour up in the cabinet along with my keys, then was going crazy to try to find where I left my keys. I was like, oh my God, this is when I lived in Albany and I owned my business and I was like, it's got my shop keys on it.
Oh my God. See, that would freak me out.
Freaking out. So then I find it days later with the flour chilling out in the cupboard. So
yeah, I haven't had that happen yet, but like I said, it's just a matter of time. Let's see if we got anybody listening in right now. We got the Fax Porcupine listening in again. Hello, welcome back. LU Rock, welcome to the show. You know, if you guys got anything you want to chime in on, we would certainly appreciate it. I wasn't sure that would work when I switched screens like that. I was waiting for it to start over at the beginning again. But like, what?
Oh my gosh. Let's see what else we want to talk about here. So, putting my keys in the.
I'm trying to think. I don't think I've ever done anything like that. I've left them in places where it's, I thought I left them. Like I usually try to throw everything in my, shoulder bag at the end of the day because it's like my man-sized purse and I know everything's in there.
Yeah, yeah.
But there's been times I've gone in there, it's like, I know I threw my keys in there. Where the hell are they? And then I'll find them like in a jacket or something in the closet.
Which is so weird, because I never do that. I don't ever lose my keys because they're always in the same place. Like I never
think.
Well, yeah.
Gremlins.
That could be. Could be. I mean.
Or Jay. I sitting outside like, gosh, I want to move her keys over here. So drive her crazy for 20 minutes.
Or it's Muggsy trying to.
It could be him.
Play a little.
He definitely is a little. What's the word I'm looking for? Not troublemaker, but I had the word at the tip of my tongue and now I lost it again.
He's a little prankster.
Prankster, yes. There you go.
So would you say that some of these things are like, it's like the Matrix? And the Matrix is
yes.
It's like the Matrix is a messy place to be.
Well, it's like when you have deja vu.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, it happens to me a lot. And it makes me stop and think like, am I imagining it? Or, I ask people, like, didn't we just do this the other day? And they just look at me like, no.
No.
Like,
yeah.
Are you sure? Because I could remember typing this whole thing out. And they're like, no, we haven't done this yet. I was like, all right. Well, okay. There's my glitch.
Yeah. Yeah. But, there was even, there's even a movie out about that there's like a glitch or a matrix, if you will, where there was like things that we know are not what truly
well, how do you know what you know is what you know?
Right, exactly.
Say that 5 times fast.
Yeah, but that's just it. Like, they use different examples in this movie. Like we grew up reading certain children's books or whatever the case may be. Mm-hmm. And then now you're reading them to your grandchildren and they're not the same children's books.
No.
So they're not, and I'm not talking just like, the way that they're written, because everything's a little bit different than like what.
Okay. That's what I was going to say. Because they've kind of like,
we're not talking
dumbed them down and made them like anything that's scary or subjective, they've kind of taken all that out. Now it's all very neutral.
Yeah. Yeah. But
which I think children should realize what fear is.
Yes. Yes.
Keeps them in line.
They should know what fear is. No, but like one of the examples from the movie is a specific children's book, and it was the spelling of the book, the name, the title.
Wait, we talked about this before.
Yes. I know.
A Friday night here or something like that. Yeah.
Yep. So we had discussed that. And one of the things is those of us like in our age group know that it was this specific book name, the way it was spelled, whatever. Now they spell it a totally different way. It's not the same book. It's not.
See, movies like that just get in my head so much.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I just, because it makes makes me anyways, but I've got one of those overactive imaginations and I just start thinking like, well, maybe everything I know isn't what I really know. You know what I mean?
Right.
How do you, like I always say, like, how do you explain to a colorblind person, for instance, like what red is?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Obviously they grow up knowing that whatever that crayon is or pen or whatever they're using that's red to us is whatever color it is to them, green or whatever.
Yeah.
But how do you explain color?
Yeah.
You can't just say, oh, it's red like a tomato. It's like, well, if you don't know what a red tomato looks like, then how do you know what a red tomato looks like?
Yeah.
And
those are the things like, yeah, exactly. You would have to, somebody like that, you're going to teach them maybe with a feeling, like here's, red is associated with hot or something like that.
You slap them and you say, see how that feels?
See,
that color right now at your cheek is, that's red.
Yeah. But we definitely.
No, we did talk about it. It's movies like that, you know what I mean? And, it just messes with your head.
It does.
Because me and Steven have joked about it. It's like, well, how do we know we're not living in a matrix? I mean, how would you know? You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, exactly. Especially when you were just mentioning too, like you have that deja vu. Like I feel like I have that all the time.
Mm-hmm.
It's like we'll say to each other, but you and I do that all the time because you'll be like, didn't we just talk about that? And I'll be
you had the perfect lineup when I said that to you. You could have been like, no, we've never talked about that before. And I would have been freaked. I would have been like, yes, we did. And you'd be like, no, we never did. And I'd have to push you off your chair.
Oh my God. That's crazy. But yeah, I mean, maybe we are in a matrix. Who knows?
How do you prove otherwise?
Can't.
Until we get a Neo that shows up, we don't know.
Yeah, we don't know. That's too crazy. So we had a couple more listeners on this one. Well, at least we had one listener with the Matrix part of it and wrote about seeing the same man in a red coat every single day. Same time, but completely different locations. Turns out the guy had passed away years ago. Or maybe he just worked in retail, which is basically the same thing. Either way, glitches are a rude reminder that we are not in charge.
Definitely not.
Nope. The universe just has a dark, impeccably timed sense of humor, I think.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Well, you ever do those things where, only because that last line reminded me of it, but I forgot who it was. It was one of those psychology books that you listen to, like when you go to sleep. And the premise of this one tape that I was listening to was about sending positive energy out into the universe to get positive energy back. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And people who are always negative just always get the negative energy back from, the people and around them and stuff like that. I don't know if there's any truth in that. I've tried it for a little bit. I didn't notice anything. Like I didn't notice any extra money or free things falling in my lap.
Maybe we're not doing it right.
Probably not.
We're like,
maybe because we're expecting something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think you got to do it with no expectations.
Right. Yep.
I'm going to yank this. I've got to do something with this cord. Either strangle myself with it or something.
Well, at least you made it through. Almost made it through.
Almost. I haven't hit my head on the sign yet.
No.
So
no, and you have disconnected.
So, let's talk about like gut feelings, do a little shift from the weirdness of ghosts and glitches to little more mysterious thing inside you, you're that gut feeling you have. And it's one thing I've found getting older. I don't follow my gut feeling as much as I used to when I was younger. When I was younger, it was always, and people thought I was impatient and, always jumping the gun and not thinking things clearly. But I always just went with my gut feeling. And it seemed to work better than when you overanalyze stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whether, I don't know if there's any truth to it or not, but that's how I feel things in my life to happen. When I just go for it, it seems to work out better than, well, let me do a pros and cons list type of thing to it. You know what I mean?
Right.
That never seems to work out for me. But it's that feeling you can't quite explain. Every single cell in your body is screaming, don't do it. But your brain is like, yeah, relax. We're okay. Right. We can do it. Your gut is essentially your built-in ghost detector. No
kidding.
If you're, it senses energy, good or bad. And it's like we were talking in the last episode, you get the hair comes up on the back of your neck. Yep. And your stomach starts to tighten up and get a little knotty, and then you start to you get that anxious feeling, something's going to happen, something's not right here. But it senses, good or bad. And, I'm just losing my thought right now. Well, I'm trying to think of like,
I know what you're saying, because it's like when you get like that feeling, where you have like everything's telling you like you're driving. Okay. And all of a sudden you're like, I don't think I should go that way. Mm-hmm. There's something keeping me from going that way. Like it just keeps telling you, don't go that way, don't go that way, don't go that way. And you find another route or something. Yep. So then you go home at night and you find out on the news that there was a major accident and people's lives were lost.
Has that ever happened to you?
Yes.
Has it?
Yes.
I can tell by the way you're talking about it.
Yeah, it has. And it also happened, not too long ago when Joe's grandma passed away. I used to drive past her house every single day on my way to work. And my gut kept saying like, well, it wasn't really my gut. It was like a voice in my head, and I have a lot of voices in my head, I just keep talking sometimes. No, but seriously, like this voice was like screaming. It was like, turn in the driveway, do it now. And I was like, what the heck? So I didn't, I just kept driving. But then, when I got to work, it was a few hours later, Joe calls me and says, grandma passed away. And I was like, oh my gosh, I was like, and so I told him, I said, this is what happened. And he's, he gets freaked out about those gut feelings that I have. And
he would not like to hear the stories that Terry Joe tells us sometimes. It is spooky, eerie.
Yeah.
The stuff's like the night her mother passed away. Mm-hmm. She called her sister, and she had a feeling something was happening. So they got in the car, and she called me up and said they're on the way to the hospital because something's not right. And we were thinking about, going to meet her because, they've been family to me since high school. Mm-hmm. And they got about halfway to Syracuse, and she told her sister, slow down. And she's like, what do you mean? She goes, she's already passed. And then the doctor called and said, she already passed. Mm. And I was like, girl, you just creep me out every time you do that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And she does it all the time. It's just the weirdest thing.
But I think sometimes we feel like it's a bad thing to have a gut feeling like that. But I feel like it's good because if you think about,
you're connected.
Like all the energies that are around us, just in general, mm-hmm. You're tuning into something that literally can keep you safe, or, it is about to happen that maybe prepares you a little bit for impact,
right.
It's just like with Joe's grandma. I mean, I say Joe's grandma, but she was my grandma too, right. Like I loved her dearly, and it just broke my heart when that happened, like that was really just made me very sad, because, I was like, oh man, I wish I would have just pulled into the yard, and I'm always late for work. So who cares, right. What would have been 10 minutes more if I just pulled into the driveway? I could have seen her one last time before I saw her later, right. So, I think those in tune moments, and that's what I would really like to call them, because you're really kind of in tune with, different situations,
right.
And I think too,
you're connected to the energy in the universe, whatever the universe is telling you, or telling everybody, you're picking up on it.
Yeah. Yeah. And some people would say, well, it's like telepathy or something, because I think we all do that. You, me, little J, Steven. There's been so many times that I'm like, I'm going to text, I'm going to text you about something. And then all of a sudden I look at my phone and you've just texted me something I was just going to text you about.
Well, that has happened to us a lot. Yes.
Like I do that, and I do that with Steven a lot, and I'm just like, wait a minute, I just was going to tell him this is what we're going to have for dinner on Friday. And he says, well, how about, I'm
Which
like,
was
no.
chili, by the way, and it was delicious. I wanted so much a second bowl, but I was like, trying to lose weight. I could eat like 3 bowls of chili.
All that protein.
I know.
That would have been, that's good. But yeah, so I mean, I think too, the more in tune you are with different things, the more those gut feelings chime in, because you're aware of your surroundings, you're aware of the situations that might be happening. It's just, have you ever heard sirens and you're like, okay, that's like right near where I need to go. And you're just like, okay, find a different route, So.
True. We had this one person that wrote in and said, I once ignored my gut about a guy who claimed he was into spirituality and tech. My gut saw a con artist. My brain said, maybe he's creative. He tried to sell me NFTs of angels and cleanse my laptop with a burning sage. Your brain makes excuses. Your gut files police reports.
So true.
Tell us about a time your gut was perfectly right or hilariously wrong. Tag that story with #TrustYourTango. Always trust your tango.
Uh-huh.
He may get you in trouble, but he's fun a lot of times.
The kind of trouble we like to get into.
Right.
Hey, everyone. We know enough of the begging, but we need to make our numbers. We need sponsors, we need followers, and really need subscribers. Subscribe sounds scary, like Michael on Halloween night, but it's not. In fact, it's easy. Only takes a click and it's free. Call in with your haunted gut feelings at 315-801-9655. And again, it's 315-801-9655. And now back to our show.
Gotta keep begging.
I know.
Gotta get those numbers. I get full pages. I got all this stuff I got to try to peruse. You get 3 lines. I got to make sure I pay attention to that next time. All right.
So I scripted and you
screwed it up.
No, definitely not.
All right. So now we're going to talk about crossroads. Sometimes all 3 of these phenomena crash together: ghost, glitches, and the gut. We had an incredible story from a listener who dreamed her father's antique pocket watch stopped. I don't know if that's really that unique, because those old pocket watches, if you don't wind it,
they don't even run.
The next morning, her phone alarm glitched out and wouldn't sound. she checked the physical watch, it had stopped at exactly 3:47 a.m., the exact minute her father passed away years earlier. Okay. I've never had anything like that happen. I've seen it in movies. But if it ever happened to me, I think I would be a little like spooked out a little bit.
It is spooky.
But tell me that's happened to you.
It did.
Oh my goodness.
I know.
I need a new co-host. Anybody want to be a co-host?
Says there's no way all these things happen to her. And I'm like, I feel like I'm a magnet for a lot of things.
You could be, because some people do attract spiritual energy.
Yeah. So when my mom passed away last year.
Mm-hmm.
She passed away at 7:00 at night. A little after, it was 10 after 7. So the clock with the pendulum on the wall, it was like a little pendulum type clock, stopped at 10 after 7.
Oh.
So now, mind you, my dad and I didn't realize it until later, when hospice was coming in, and then the funeral director came in, and I looked up to see what time it was at that point, and it still said 10 after 7. And there's no way I did all of this stuff and called all of these people
in 7 minutes
in like a nanosecond. So I looked at my watch, and it was like almost 9:00 at that point, and I was like, oh my God. So I said to my dad the next day, because I didn't, really want to talk about it. I said, did you take a look at the pendulum clock by any chance? And he said, no, why? And he looks at it and he's like, oh my God. And that's what it was.
See, and that's the thing. Like, I think that's one of the hardest things. I think a lot of people have experienced it, but it's one of those things that's the hardest thing to acknowledge and confirm. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I mean, it could have been just a fluke thing. You know what I mean? A coincidence.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of coincidences. I mean, I believe a lot of things happen for a reason.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, there's just a lot of things that have happened in my life that happened for a reason, and it steered me correctly. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But you hear a lot of stuff like that where clocks. It seems a lot to do with clocks. I don't know if it's. Yeah. I don't know what the attraction is to that, or if it's just the energy being released, or what it is that causes the clocks and watches to stop. Well, any kind of electronic device. So a lot of your watches, you know what I mean, if they're running out of battery or anything like that,
like
an EMP pulse will stop most electronic devices. So. Mm-hmm. Who knows? Maybe the human soul is electrical, and you know what I mean, and that. Oh, no
doubt.
That release of. Well, we all know that the human body runs on electricity. You know what I mean? We generate electricity to move our muscles, and just about everything else. So, I would be inclined to believe that the soul is that energy. You know what I mean? And the release of that energy could easily stop electronic devices.
Yeah.
So,
but the crazy thing is with that, this is just one to add a little tidbit with the creepy factor in it, is that the next day the pendulum was swinging again on the clock, but it still said 10 after 7.
What?
Yeah. So the pendulum was swinging for days and days and days and days and days and days. And then all of a sudden my dad said, it stopped. So I go and see my dad every week.
Right.
I talk to him every day, but I go to see him at least a week. And I just happened to look up at the clock and it was swinging again. So I said to him, did you change the battery in the clock? And he looks up and he goes, no.
So Dad's been walking by it for weeks and just never noticed that the thing still started swinging again.
Yeah. But, it's really an emotional time and whatever. So you're not you really weren't thinking about it. So I said, you know what, Dad? I said, why don't we do that? Let's change the battery in the clock and let's get it set at the right time and see what happens at this point. So it's fine now. It's keeping time. The pendulum is swinging. But, it's just one of those crazy things. And like I said, the creepy factor was attached to it. She was my mom. I loved her, so I wasn't totally creeped out,
right.
But it is a little creepy when you're telling the story,
Well, you know, who knows? Maybe intuition is just the strongest Wi-Fi signal in the universe.
Maybe.
We're all connected through a beautiful, inexplicable layer of static.
Could be.
You know, and I believe the universe is sending us messages constantly. Just like I was saying earlier, you know, you put good vibes out, and you know, you try to put good energy out, and you get good energy back. Mm-hmm. At least, you know, I've got a couple of these books that say that.
Yeah.
But I don't know how much truth is in that, but I do believe, you know, a positive attitude always gets you further than a negative attitude.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So just like, you know, you catch more flies with honey than you do with vinegar, you know? So who knows? You know what I mean? Like I said, the universe is sending messages and they never come in as clear or as clean as we like, you know, and leaves us guessing whether what we saw or heard was real or a glitch or, you know, gut feeling or, or whatever, you know, but we all, I think almost everybody I've ever talked to has had some kind of, you know, experience with it, you know, to some degree. So who knows?
Maybe one day we will know.
That'll be a sad day, though, because we know what that means.
Yes. So, in closing, remember this. Ghosts are just memories that refuse to be deleted.
I like that.
Yeah. Yep. Glitches are a little slap on the wrist, reminding you the system isn't perfect, and gut feelings. Those are your soul's push notifications. Sometimes the universe just blinks. And if you're paying attention, you catch it. So,
this has been Tango Talks. Stay weird, stay curious, and please don't forget to charge your intuition overnight.
Until next time, this is Angela.
And Tango. Saying ghoul night and skull.